Italian company Wilier has given us some beautiful bikes over the years, ever since it founded way back in 1906, and this latest Zero SLR easily lives up to that reputation. I've tried it for the last few weeks and I found it's a bike you can buy based on its looks alone, because it is gorgeous, isn't it? Look at it. But also be rest assured that the performance and the ride quality is absolutely top level. Now, if you watch the Tour de France, which most of you will have done, you'll have seen the bike doing pretty well with a summit finish. So easily capable in the hands of the world's best bike racers at the highest level, but in my experience, also pretty good at bashing around the country lanes on a Sunday. So in this video, I'm going to share my observations from riding this bike for the last few weeks, go through some frame and component highlights, and give my verdict at the end of the video. So let's dive in. Before we dive into the ride quality and pros and cons of this bike, a quick recap on what this bike is all about, just to give you some context in case you missed my first look, which if you did, is linked up above. So Zero SLR is the company's flagship lightweight disc brake road bike designed for racing. We've seen it in action at the Tour de France already, doing pretty well. And it's a culmination of decades of design and development and using lots of that race feedback to make a bike that offers the highest level of performance the company can offer. Now, it replaced the company's previously lightweight bike, and the frame is actually a little bit heavier due to disc brakes, integration and so on. But even so, it's still very light, with a size large frame weighing a claimed 790 grams, which is pretty decent and compares well to other key rivals in this space from Specialized, Trek, Canyon and so on. And with this build here with Dura-Ace carbon tubs, you're looking at a UCI weight limit beating 6.7 kilograms. So it really points to the future of modern road race bikes with disc brakes, through axles, internal cable routing, a really sleek looking frame, and a weight that's well below that UCI weight limit. So weight is not really an issue. Even though it's a little bit heavier than the previous model, you're getting a lot more performance, as I found, with disc brakes and the high level of stiffness it offers. But I'll get into ride quality in a minute. But what do you think of the looks? Absolutely stunning, isn't it? Got this velvet red paint finish, looks really, really good. Really pops on a sunny day like today. Nice pair back white decals, very simple, very elegant. Lots of black components lets the frame really stand out. Nicely proportioned as well. I mean, there are a few bits we don't like generally, like the seat nubbin is something of contention with lots of you. Got drop seat stays, nice slender design, big oversized bottom bracket, beefy chain stays, full internal cable routing, even with their new one-piece carbon fibre handlebar and stem. All the cables and the brake hoses are inside the stem and go down into head tube, and you have these split spaces for adjusting the stack. So it's very useful. What it's not is an aerodynamic bike. They have added aero where they can without adding a weight penalty. So the fork blades are slightly aero optimized, the head tube is slightly aero as well. The down tube has a slight aero profile. Most importantly, of course, is the seat tube and seat post, which have an aero profile. Brand new seat post, D-shaped, and nice detail is the grip tape on the carbon to stop it slipping. And of course, reducing your frontal surface area is really important with aerodynamics. I mean, the rider is 80% off the drag, but the front of the bike is really important, which is why I'm seeing one-piece carbon fibre aero handlebars and stems appearing in all the latest top-end bikes. Even a bike that isn't really an out-and-out aero bike, they've added an aero handlebar and stem. So that is a pitch for the bike. Lightweight, a bit of aero, high level stiffness. They claim it's 24% stiffer than the bike it replaces. So yeah, massive jump in stiffness, but still pretty lightweight. Anyway, ride quality time. I can happily say, after several weeks of riding, this bike easily lives up to the expectations that the stunning appearance sets for it, with a performance on the road that is on a par with other rivals in this space. I mean, it's absolutely stunningly fast. It just belts along the road. That high level of stiffness you can really feel through the bottom bracket and chainstays. Really does a good job of really turning your power, your watts into forward motion. Just smash along the road really quick. It's not an aero bike, but even at high speeds, 40, 45 kilometers an hour when you're in a group, it still feels really efficient. It doesn't feel like it's really holding you back. It's got nice aero wheels, of course, and aero handlebar. Position is pure race bike in terms of geometry. Even with the spacers on, it's still fairly slammed at the front, so you get a nice aero position, get your body really hunkered down low over the handlebars. The handling and steering is a nice balance between not being too fast and twitchy at high speed through corners, or slow and boring It's a really exciting bike to ride. It's a bike you can push really hard, and it likes to be pushed really hard. These Fiatura Corsa tyres give you plenty of grip in the corners. You can really lean on this bike in the corners. It really feels fantastic in the corners. Swooping descents is where the bike really shines. Lightweight bikes, which this is, means 6.7 kilograms is lightweight, can often feel nervous or twitchy in high-speed descents, especially if you have lots of holes or rough road surfaces to deal with. But this bike feels really solid, it feels really secure. There's no sense it feels fragile underneath you. So the bike can really push hard, and that's what you want in a race bike. A bike that's going to live up to any demanding situation or scenario, unexpected or otherwise. So yeah, it really lives up to that. As you'd expect and hope for a bike built as a lightweight climbing bike, this bike really shines on the climbs. In fact, this is where the bike really excels the most on climbs, whether really steep gradients or long drags. This bike is a stunning climbing bike, even with me on it and my measly power output. So due to low weight and the high stiffness and the aggressive geometry, this bike really makes the most of your capacity to get up climbs really quickly. And it's the fastest climbing bike I've ridden in quite a while. So the stiffness really shines through, both from the power transfer from the bottom of the frame, but also the front end stiffness. When you're out of the saddle, really honking on the handlebars side to side, you really feel the stiffness from the frame. It's not flexing, it feels really direct. It feels like it's really transferring every single watt into going forward, getting up that climb as quickly as possible. Well, not as quickly as possible, just as pleasantly as possible until you run out of gears on the steep climbs around here. And when I drew up a list for this, there are a lot more likes than dislikes, which is a good thing with a bike costing over £10,000. But the price of one thing I disliked, I'll get onto that in a moment. Firstly, I love the way this bike looks. I love the paint finish. I love the proportions of the frame. I love the Shimano Dura-Ace Di2 group set, a first class performance, super quiet, super quick gear changes, solid brakes, really small hoods, long battery life. Really nothing to fault with it. It's not 12 speed or 13 speed, but maybe that's coming in the future, we'll see. I also got on really well with the saddle, Wilier SLR saddle with a big cutout in the middle, and this new fashionable on-trend short stubby shape we'll see in the saddle market. Really worked well for me, and I really like the handlebar as well. One-piece carbon fibre handlebar and stem, company's own design, nice compact short reach drops, nice pro-legged bar tape as well, nice shape on the tops, not too fat and aero shape, so really comfortable handlebar. Not too stiff either. There's a little bit of compliance built into the handlebar, which helps to filter out some of the vibrations on rough roads. So not a super stiff, jarring experience that some carbon fibre handlebars can be on more aero-focused road bikes. Thankfully, the list of dislikes on this bike is pretty short, but there are a couple of things worth pointing out. The first one is something that everybody points out in my first look and on social media, and that is the seat clamp. This seat tube nubbin where the bolt goes into doesn't look very pretty at all. On a bike that's so elegant and classy, that seems an oversight really, and I think it is, because there are better solutions seen on other bikes in this market, so a better solution could have been developed, I feel. Also, staying in this area, is the fact there's a rubber bung on top of the bolt, which seems again an afterthought. And the worst thing probably on this bike is that it's a really elegant looking bike, really classy paint job, nice decals. But why do we have the torque setting on the top tube that you can't remove on a 10 grand superbike? It's also repeated on the stem as well. It just seems crazy that you're buying a 10 grand superbike and you've got a torque setting on the top tube. If it's a sticker you can remove after building, that'd be fine. Or if it's in the manual where that sort of information should be for the mechanic building the bike, that'd be fine. But why is it on the top tube? And the last dislike is a personal one, but it's the use of tubs on this range topping £10,100 build. Now there is an option for a bike with the same spec but with carbon clincher tubeless wheels, which saves you about £1,000. Put a price down below, and that's the bike I would personally pick. Now I get why tubs are used in a pro peloton. It's mainly so they can ride with a flat tyre before they get a spare wheel or spare bike. But testing has shown that tubeless and clincher tyres are faster. We're seeing them used in time trials and in some stage races as well. So outside of pro peloton, there's no place for tubs in my mind, unless you're really kind of tied to the history of sport and you're riding for a historical reason. but some people harp on about the magical ride quality of the tub and how it's unparalleled compared to clincher and tubeless wheels. But it's a load of nonsense, it's a load of hype, I just don't get it at all. And to find out, I swapped the wheels and tyres for some other carbon wheels with a 26mm wide tube tyre and found the ride quality improved quite a bit. I could run low pressures, just felt smoother and felt nicer. Tubs then are not for me, I'll leave them to the pros. But Wilier does at least offer this bike, this Dura-Ace Di2 spec, which costs £9,300. So you're saving quite a bit of money, almost £1,000, and you're getting a really good set of wheels, but you can run clincher tubeless tyres with inner tubes or tubeless, depending on your preference. And that's a bike I would pick. So, summary, the Wilier Zero SLR really is a triumph of design, performance, and gorgeous looks. And it's a vision of the future modern road bike with hydraulic disc brakes, electronic gears, full internal cable routing, and a lightweight frame. And if you love riding bikes, I mean really love riding bikes, then you absolutely love this bike and will not be disappointed at all, apart from the price maybe. So that has been my review of the Wilier Zero SLR, because sadly it must go back, and it's going back fairly soon. So one last ride today before it does go back. I have really enjoyed riding this bike for the last few weeks, and it's a bike I will miss, and it will definitely leave an imprint on my memory. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. Does it float your boat or not? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this bike. But that's all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this review, and if you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram for more behind the scenes of bikes I'm riding and testing at the moment as well. Any other questions, put them down below too. But all that said, thank you for watching. I'll see you all again next time. One cheeky last ride before it goes back.